The story begins in a crowded city, where we see a man named Max. Max was once a policeman, but now he lives in a completely changed world, where there are neither police nor leaders. After a nuclear war, the Earth's air has become polluted and the land has become barren. Max is traveling in his car when a convoy of vehicles hits his car and overturns it. After this, Max is captured and a tattoo is made on his body that reads negative, which indicates his blood type. In fact, Max is a universal donor, and these people have made Max their slave. Max somehow manages to escape from their captivity, but these people capture him again. These people work for a powerful leader named Immortan Joe. Immortan Joe has a special type of clamp on his face, to which two pipes are attached. This screw fulfills his need to breathe, which allows him to stay alive. Remote lives on the top of a hill, where many weak people live below. Immortan Joe gives them the message that he is their savior, and in this period of water shortage, he releases water from above, which makes people happy. Here a girl is also introduced, whose name is Furiosa, and she also works for Immortan Joe. Immortan Joe has sent her with his people to a fuel station, but she turns her car towards the east, while she had to go straight. It is mandatory for everyone to obey his orders. That is why all the cars start moving towards the east. Remote sees all this through binoculars and understands that Furiosa has run away with something important along with her car. He asks his people to chase her. These people, called Cotton's Army, happily agree to do this work, as they are ready to give up their lives for Immortan Joe. To catch Max, Immortan Joe's army shows a boy, who is very weak but still tries to catch Rio. He tries to stop Max in front of his car. A pipe is connected to Max's body, through which his blood is going into a soldier's body. This blood provides energy to the soldier, so that he can join the war and do important work and be ready to be martyred. Being a martyr is a matter of pride in this world. On the other hand, Furiosa and her team enter other people's area. The people there start chasing them in vehicles. All of Cross's companions are killed one by one. Immortan Joe's army also reaches there and fights with the people of the area. The people of the area manage to defeat Immortan Joe's army, but before they can catch Furiosa, a huge storm arises. Furiosa drives her car into the storm. Meanwhile, a soldier who was chasing Furiosa also enters the storm. When Furiosa is near her car, the soldier pours a lot of petrol into her car. He wants to stop himself and Furiosa by setting his car on fire. But before the blast, Max grabs the soldier's hand and then his car collides with a big car. The next morning, the storm has calmed down. Max is alive, but the soldier has been killed. Max takes her to her car, in which Furiosa and 5 boys are. Max points a gun at them and asks them to cut the chain. While a girl is cutting the chain, Furiosa attacks them. The two fight, and meanwhile, the soldier who was tied to Max also gets up and tries to grab Furiosa. The soldier and Max together completely subdue Furiosa. The soldier happily cuts Max's chain, but punches Furiosa and drives off in his car. Furiosa and the 5 boys follow Max to escape. Immortan Joe's entire army is chasing them. Furiosa's car stops after some distance, as they need to get out of there as quickly as possible. Furiosa arrives there and tells Max that she has set up a sequence that won't work without him. So Max has to take the fuel and his companions in his car. They all reach near the mountain cliffs, where Furiosa encounters a local chieftain. The chieftain says that he promised that some people will chase them, and in return he has to give her oil, which is stored in a round tanker. When Furiosa sees that he is arriving with his people, she quickly starts the car and leaves from there. They all get in the car, and the chieftain blasts the rock in his area, completely blocking the way in. Emo Change and his army, called Voice, stay outside. Now, the people of the area get on their sport bikes and chase Max and Furiosa. Max and Furiosa kill the bikers one by one. But before they can go any further, Immortan Joe reaches their car with his car and people. Immortan Joe is about to fire a shot, but a girl stands outside his car. This girl is pregnant and is carrying Immortan Joe's baby in her womb. Immortan Joe doesn't fire, as he doesn't want to harm his baby. He fires a chain from his car, which gets stuck on the steering of the car, making it impossible for him to control his car. The pregnant girl comes out of the house and cuts the chain. But before they can control the car properly, a rock comes in front. They try to turn their car, and the door of the car hits the rock. The pregnant girl, who is outside the car, tries to get into the car, but her foot slips and she hangs from the car. The door breaks and she falls to the ground. Immortan Joe tries to help her, turning his car left, causing his car to overturn. Immortan Joe gets out of the car and tries to save the pregnant girl. By nightfall, Max and Furiosa see that Immortan Joe's entire convoy is chasing them. Max plants dynamite on a piece of ground and drives off with his car. When Immortan Joe's convoy arrives at the dynamite, it explodes, stopping all the cars. Max and Furiosa's car moves on, but their car's tire gets stuck in the swamp. Salt, who previously wanted to kill Max, now helps them. He says that there is a dry tree, and we should tie the car's cable to it so that the car can get out of the swamp. When the car leaves the swamp, they travel a little further. Mexico takes an oil can and runs towards the car that was chasing them, as they don't have weapons. Shortly after, there is a blast, and Furiosa thinks Max is dead, but Max is alive. They all move on in their car and see a tower the morning after crossing the desert. Furiosa reveals that there was a tower like this in her childhood. They reach the tower, and Furiosa reveals her identity and the name of her clan. She also reveals her mother's name and meets her mother. Her mother and the others recognize Purii and tell Furiosa that the green pressure in the direction she is headed is no longer habitable. Furiosa is very sad to hear this. After this, they all plan to cross the dry sea to find a new place. Max does not go with them on this journey. Max wants to decide his own path. When everyone leaves, Max goes to a little girl who tells him in the vision that he promised to save her, but it didn't happen. Max couldn't save that girl's life. After the vision, he reaches Furiosa on his bike, who tells him that the path he is going on has nothing but salt. Furiosa says that they should go back to Immortan Joe, where there is water and greenery. If they take him under their control, everything will be fine. Max agrees to this and starts walking in the direction of Immortan Joe in the same car that has the oil tanker. On the way, they see the car of Immortan Joe and his men. Immortan Joe understands that this car is going against Immortan Joe, and he starts chasing them with his car. Max and Furiosa's men kill many enemies, and Immortan Joe captures one of the 4 girls. After reaching Immortan Joe's car, she pulls out the flesh of the car, killing him. There are many voices that want to kill them all. A car, which contains an oil tanker, collides with them all and a huge blast occurs, killing them all, and Max realizes that he needs blood. He transfers his blood into his body, which makes him normal. Now they reach for Immortan Joe control. There are also soldiers there, and everyone becomes happy after seeing Immortan Joe's dead body. They say that justice has been done. After Immortan Joe controls death, the water flow is restored. Everyone rejoices after seeing the water, and a water pump is installed there so that there will never be a shortage of water in the future. Max, who has fulfilled his responsibility, leaves from there and the story ends here.